Yeah, so 18 jurors sat through 16 days of testimony as well as closing arguments and jury instructions. Then 6 at that point were selected at random as alternates. They did not deliberate. The 12-panel jury returned a full slate of guilty verdicts in just 11.5 hours. They're not free to go yet, though. They will now hear more evidence in the penalty phase of this proceeding.
This afternoon, a jury convicted Dzhokhar Tsarnaev on 30 charges in connection with the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, finding the 21-year-old former college student guilty of murder, conspiracy, and use of a weapon of mass destruction. The impact on Massachusetts in this federal case will be a factor in the penalty phase.
They prove a lot of different aggravating factors. They look at the types of victims involved in this case, the effect of the deaths, of the little boy on the family members. I mean, there's a wide range. The amount of planning, the amount of what they call evil intent that went into the crime. All these different aggravating factors are things they're going to prove.
Tsarnaev sat with his arms folded as the verdicts were read, staring at the table in front of him. 2 years ago, this April, he and his brother unleashed a brief but terrifying attack near the finish line of the iconic Boston Marathon, setting off a pair of homemade pressure cooker bombs. The blasts killing 3 and wounding 262. As authorities closed in, the brothers also shot and killed Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officer Sean Collier.
The effect on the local community, on society as a whole, by the conduct is something that they look at. And that was one of the issues that they were trying to get the case removed from Boston because it happens to be an aggravating factor.
Now comes the penalty phase of the trial, its outcome far more uncertain than today's verdict. The same jury will decide if Dzhokhar Tsarnaev will spend the rest of his life in prison or face the death penalty.
That jury is still going to remain impaneled for that whole time. So I think the judge is going to want to move this along quicker. And the government's going to proceed with calling, probably another 4 or 5 dozen witnesses.
The federal government has only executed 3 convicts since the early 1960s, most recently domestic terrorist Timothy McVeigh, who carried out the Oklahoma City bombing. McVeigh asked to die. He was executed 4 years after his conviction. In the studio this evening, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Amy, thanks. And as the verdict came in, flowers were left at the marathon finish line, the scene of so much devastation almost 2 years ago. Again, more than 250 people injured in those 2 bombings, and some of the survivors gathered outside of the federal courthouse to offer their own reaction to the verdict. Our Shelley Walcott is here with what survivors are saying.
Well, Jen, today Karen Broussard, who now lives in Nashua, spoke out after the verdicts, and she said there are a lot of mixed emotions today. Bombing survivor Karen Broussard says she's relieved by the verdict.
We're obviously grateful for the outcome today. It's not a happy occasion, but it's something that we can put, one more step behind us.
Broussard now lives in Nashua. Her family was just 10 feet away from the first bomb. She, her husband, and daughter were injured in the blast. After thanking the prosecution, Broussard described Tsarnaev's demeanor in the courtroom. She says he didn't appear to show any remorse.
Personally, I wouldn't have bought it. I would have been more frustrated if he had shown it, because throughout this whole thing, he's been, to use my word, arrogant.
Other bombing survivors released statements today. New Hampshire native Jeff Bowman, who lost both his legs, said, "Today's verdict will never replace the lives that were lost and so dramatically changed, but it is a relief and one step closer to closure." Sidney Corcoran, a teen injured in the bombing, tweeted, "Guilty like we all knew he would be. Great jurors." Now, as the trial moves into the penalty phase, Broussard said survivors preferred not to discuss the possibility of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev receiving the death penalty. And when asked whether she felt like justice was served today, Broussard said this.
I don't know what justice is. I'm grateful to have him off the street. I'm grateful to show everyone, the world, that it's not tolerated. This is not how we behave. And we're grateful that everybody's worked so hard to make it, known that we're not going to allow this.
And Broussard also told reporters today that no matter what the final outcome of the trial is, survivors will never fully recover from what they endured as a result of the bombing. Live in studio, I'm Shelley Walcott, WMUR News 9.